Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, during this Autism Week, please watch over these students and keep us ever mindful of our duty to serve all children. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Emmett, can we have the roll call, please?
Mrs. Fiorella?
Here.
Mr. Hope?
Here.
Mr. Gogalski?
Here.
Mr. Enslin?
Present.
Mr. Gershi?
Here.
Mr. Gambita?
Here.
Mr. Auckland?
Here.
Mr. Schaefer?
Here.
Mr. Wood?
Excuse?
Attorney Meir?
Here.
Dr. Barrett?
Here.
Ms. Woliski?
Here.
Ms. Emmett is here. Mr. Gogorski?
Here.
Mrs. Donahue?
Excused?
Mr. Pigeon?
Here.
Mrs. Miller?
Excused?
Mrs. Bradley?
Here.
Ms. Watson?
Here.
Mrs. Fitzsimmons?
Here.
Mrs. La Rosa?
Here.
Ms. DeKnight?
Here.
Mrs. Gregory?
Here.
Mrs. Liptak?
Here.
Mr. Seaman?
Excused?
And Mr. Dunda?
Here.
Madam President, you have 8 board members present.
Could I please have a motion for number 5?
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on March 5th, 2018.
I'll second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. And any abstaining? The motion carries. A motion for number 6, please.
I move to accept the treasurer's reports from the general and food service accounts.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Any abstaining? The motion carries. A motion for number 7, please.
I move for the approval of bills from the general, food service, and construction accounts.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. And any abstaining? The motion carries. Mr. Gregorski, could we please have student recognition?
Thank you, Madam President. Today we'd like to recognize 2 outstanding seniors, the first of which is Laura Boots. Laura is the daughter of Robert and Susan Boots of Lake Ariel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Laura Boots. I'm a senior here at Western Wayne. I'd like to first start off by thanking the board for having me speak today, and also thank you for all the AP classes and things you provide me with, like sports and clubs that I'm involved in, things like SAD, TSA, NHS, FBLA, and Biothon. I want to thank my parents for making me always do my homework and making me work harder, because there's always someone better. Here at Western Wayne, I love our hype of Wildcat Pride, and me being involved in many things. I think I like to be involved with that as well. I feel that I was the captain of my volleyball team, and I made it to be first team 2 years in a row, so that helps me bring my Wildcat Pride back to you guys, and I'm planning on continuing my education at Woods University, and I'm going to play volleyball there as well. And I won't be far from home, so I'll never lose my Wildcat Pride. Thank you.
Laura, if we could recognize your parents also, please. We also have with us Morgan Emery. Morgan is the daughter of Ronald and Kim Emery of Lake Ariel.
Hi everybody. Thank you for inviting me here tonight and recognizing my hard work and accomplishments throughout my high school career here at Western Wayne. I'd like to first thank my parents for supporting me in everything I've chosen to do and providing me with everything I've needed to succeed and do my best. I'd also like to thank 2 teachers who have stood out to me and have left a lasting impact on my education. Throughout the 7 AP and 7 honors courses I've taken here at Western Wayne, no two teachers have helped me as much as Miss Notika and Miss Masenka. These two ladies have put so much energy into their job, more than anyone I've ever seen. In addition to teaching their students the content of their course, they have taught us life skills and have prepared us more than anyone else for what is yet to come. Here at Western Wayne, I have cheered for 3 years for the football team and 3 years for the basketball and wrestling teams, where I was captain my junior year. I am also president of FBLA, where I have competed in Anaheim, California this past summer, and will be competing in Hershey next week on the parliamentary procedure team. I am also involved in NHS and Envirothon. I plan on furthering my education at a 4-year university to major in nursing and later become a nurse anesthetist.
Thank you, Morgan. And if we could recognize your parents also, please.
Well, ladies, great job. And on the other side of excellence is hard work, and you have proven that. So I hope that you keep up the hard work, because great things are just going to be right there for you. So congratulations. Job well done. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak?
I would. It was brought to my attention that the vice principal took a couple of the group home girls, if not most, to Appleday Spa. I don't think that was right. It was
Could you please state your name?
Dustin Chapman. You got these successful young ladies here that I don't think got to go, so I don't think it was right that they went.
Yeah, I would be happy to address that, and I'm thankful that that was brought to your attention by our board member. I would like to say that
No, it was
it was
actually my
an
sister that belongs to the school.
after-school activity as an incentive program for a group.
Why are you making
Of individuals.
accusations?
It's
I
not
don't
an
think that's right.
accusation.
It is.
I'm just going to address you for the question that you had. And so it was a part of the district with the incentive program, and that's how we handled it. The administration, the teachers,
What's their incentive?
their incentive is phenomenal. They have wonderful parents that have raised them and have given them an education and have given them opportunities.
So our tax dollars get to pay for.
It was a
There are some things that are student-specific, based upon student need, and some of those we cannot discuss because of confidentiality. However, it is a school-wide positive behavior support program that we're trying to implement in order to create a safe, secure environment for all of our students.
Now, who else went besides the group home students?
it wasn't.
We can't divulge that information.
Mr. Barrett.
That's because there wasn't any.
You said this is a program that you instituted? Was it recent?
It's been ongoing.
And who approved
Do
it?
we have any white papers or documents that describe the scope of this program?
And why it's necessary to get your hair done and your nails done at Apple Day?
It wasn't at
It
Apple Day
wasn't at
Spa.
Apple.
It was at
It
Apple
was-
Day Spa.
Not
It
at Apple
was,
Day
because people
Spa.
have seen them there with the school band.
It was not Apple
It
Day
was.
Spa. And I can tell you why it
I
wasn't.
can guarantee you it was Apple Day Spa Salon in Homestead.
And what day was
People have seen them
that?
there with the Western Wayne band.
And what day was that?
The 20th of March.
And is
March
that a
20th.
Tuesday?
I'm not too sure on the exact date.
Right, because
unless I
we
look at
held
the
it on a Monday
calendar. It was March 20th.
at a local community event.
I'm
So
sorry, no.
whatever you're relating
Okay,
to
so
is
clearly,
not that,
I don't know what you're
clearly
talking
they
about.
don't know the story, and if that was the case, if that came from me, they would have had the correct information. It was
I
on the
don't know if
19th
that's
of
the
March,
case. Exactly,
all right? And I have this form right here that says it was Apple Day Spa.
which
From the
was
van-
fabulous because
Okay.
it was a misprint.
Okay. This
How's
is
there a
an official
misprint?
document in
Yeah,
someone's handwriting. I'm not gonna mention
It's
that.
not an
name.
excuse.
It is.
It's not an excuse
And-
because
and-
what
and
you're
who-
No, and
saying,
my tax dollars are paying for that.
it was,
Who voted on
Official
it?
document though, is it not? Again, we're looking at the messenger.
Miss
it's not the message.
Miss Bradley, is there something that you would like to say?
I'm still-
I'm really
I'm-
like, just like blown away that we're even having this discussion. There are many different incentives in place in this building for students that are
And it should be for the
demonstrating
students that are
good
doing better.
behavior. Whether it's honors breakfast, whether it's lunch with the principals, there are several different incentives within the building.
I think the
We have
rock star
identified
students.
some students that need extra support. We put a behavioral contract in place. We're working on an incentive. It's not even a program. It's
Okay,
a
so
culture in
you have
which
the
you develop
superintendent
within
saying
the
it's a
school.
program. Where
You
is
could
the
call it a
document?
program, but it's, your ultimate goal is to develop a culture where you are proactive and recognizing good
In an
behavior.
ad hoc manner.
These are students that we know were struggling, and we were recognizing their good behavior. We
But
sat with them, we developed a behavioral contract. Again, I can't disperse all of that information to you. They met their end of the contract and were rewarded by someone in the community that was willing to provide them with a service of which they enjoy.
At no cost to the district.
I can't, and it was at no cost of the district, and there are things that we are gonna continue to do
Volunteers
for
from
all
the
of our
The
students.
school resources being used. Who
Well,
else
the
on this-
man-
who on this board knew that this was going on?
Nobody.
Did anyone know that this was going on the 19th, prior to or on the 19th of March? Did anyone on this board
The
know?
board as individuals aren't involved in many daily
Can you
decisions
answer my
in the
question? I'm gonna raise hands. I didn't know that on the 19th this was going on. Does anyone, prior to the 19th, know, did they know that this was going on?
I was part of it. I
You were
was
part of it.
reached out
The board
to
president?
get resources. And why is that a problem? I'm trying to make a positive
Because you're
environment.
too
We had
connected
2 months ago.
to certain individuals in this district.
I actually heard she was behind the wheel of the van that was driving an Applebee's.
That I can't establish.
Yeah.
Unless you want to have accurate,
I was
true
present,
information, please withhold
my name-
any.
is Elizabeth Watson. I'm the middle school assistant principal. I was present. It was held at, not at Apple Day Spa, it was held at a spa on Route 191. It was
But
held on Monday, March 19th, because that happened to be my birthday, and I did stop by to celebrate with some of our students. I know that everything was provided as a donation from whether it was the service people that provided the services to the girls, whether it was, some of the food or birthday cake was brought for me as well. And I will speak on behalf of incentive programs in general for students. They are tailor-made to the students' needs.
Ad hoc is essentially what you're saying.
No, that's not the case, Mr. Schaefer. It is part of our school-wide program. It is part of our comprehensive plan, and I can tell you as such because we wrote it in the special ed
Do you
plan.
have this for the
We
board?
do, it will be up for public review in the next 30 days again. It has been part of our program. We tailor individualized programs for many students across the district. That is not something that is advertised. That is not something that is shared. And if we're talking about incentive programs, they look like different things. For some students, it's band. For some students, it's sports. There's other students that do not fit into that category, such as the group of individuals. I was also there in attendance.
Yes, I know I was aware.
So if they're not destroying the school for that week and Mr. Semler isn't escorting them out of class for that week or the school, they get an incentive to go get their hair done, nails done, etc.
In
When you have
reference
these
to,
amazing young girls here,
and congratulations to both of
And-
you for
What do
a job well done. The
what do,
student
what do they
that-
get that's equivalent?
The student
They have a
that
family.
I
One of the huge
represented,
things that's different, many of these girls come here with huge problems. And we're not gonna speak much about individuals, but we
No,
will,
Bernice has already done that on Facebook.
we will give help that we feel, as I believe, anyway, and I will, as a board member, give these wonderful people that we have in our administration any tools that they feel are necessary to help anybody in the district.
That's great, but you didn't even know anything about it according to just 5 minutes
Roger, you're
worth
not
of
gonna know
question.
everything that happens on a daily basis.
How
It's
can
impossible.
how can you give all that power and not know
I
anything
didn't
that's
know
going
the
on?
Because
van
that's
was
what you pay
used
us
for
to do.
Dunmore.
So,
I had no
so
idea.
essentially what this is this board
That's
just
why-
comes here,
that's why you
we say
hire
a little
us.
prayer, salute the flag, and then just spend money for an hour. Is that essentially what this board is?
We rely on our professionals.
Is that what this board is?
We rely on our professionals to do
Much more than that.
to do
I
their
wish you could
job
see that.
correctly. And they are doing a fabulous job with a very difficult situation.
Right, and there are
And if a
consequences, because
rewards
sometimes good
program-
kids are not getting
If
rewarded.
a rewards
They're doing the right thing.
I know I went to high school here and I didn't get any incentive like that, because I know I would love to go to Apple Day, just to let everybody know here. And I think it's bullshit that nobody else got invited to this,
I know I had to drop out of the school in 8th grade,
because people aren't doing
and thank
their
God
job.
I started my own business and I'm doing great. But if it wasn't for that, why don't you focus on the kids that are not doing so great? Like, instead of going, like, leaving school at 3:30 to take them to Apple Day, why don't you tutor some kids
I
that
do,
are failing instead of going to Apple
I
Day,
do.
so they do a little bit better?
I do
4 days a
every
week,
day.
yeah.
You said this was
So
on
maybe we should do a little
donation.
more.
Nowhere did I get asked for a donation, and we all know how charitable I am. I would have been more than happy to donate to this.
Okay.
Well, that's something.
Thank you for your comments, we appreciate it. At
Oh,
this
do you?
time,
Yeah.
I think we should.
We can move on.
Unless there are
Anyone
other
else
comments
from
from the public?
Public, opinion?
Community Seattle. I'd like to take this time to commend the board for taking the legwork that Jason and I did to implement a barricade system in our school. I received a call to confirm the door counts I had obtained, along with going over a few of the models we had researched while I was speaking with SRO Sumler. I was also happy to hear that students weren't able to enter the schools before school any longer as locks were put in place, so staff would need to swipe to get into the building and other doors would remain locked. On that note, however, I'm a bit concerned. The public has had some rumblings that some of the kids are allowed to be admitted into the school around 7:40 as long as they go to their classrooms.
The cafeteria.
From what I'm hearing from us,
Oh, I'm sorry.
they go right to their classrooms.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it to the board's attention. This teacher is going beyond what her day of work is to then be in her classroom 20 minutes at least prior to the time that school starts. If these kids are being dropped off by a school van, it's very easy to just tell the van, drop them off 15 minutes later. It's not needed that a teacher is then expending her own personal time for that. Another issue that was brought up to us was floor grading, as from what I've been told it's called. I see absolutely no value to this outside of keeping our grades up and in turn being able to receive more federal funds. I just feel that this floor grading is undermining what these girls are accomplishing with their grades that they are accomplishing. By not giving a kid the grade that they really deserve, you are then sending kids out into this world thinking they don't have to do a thing. A kid solely has to show up for class, not take a test, or do a lick of homework and can walk out with a 65. You have effectively made me look like a liar to my children, because my point to my kids is, mommy goes to work, I have to do a job. If I don't do my job, I'm going to get fired. Their job is to be students and to perform, to do their tests, to do their homeworks. If they don't, they're failed, they get held back, etc. If that's not what's happening here with these floor gradings, I don't feel that you're putting well-rounded kids out into our environment. Our youth should be trained to be our next hope. Rewards for nothing and floor grading is not the answer. It's just fueling the next idiotic thing our youth can come up with. Because doing Tide Pod challenges and snorting condoms is not the last, nor is it going to be the most idiotic thing that can happen with our youth, especially if something like this is being implemented. I'd also like to implore the board to rethink not having any snow days built into the schedule for next year. As we can see from the past few years, it snows in northeastern Pennsylvania. If we don't need them, then the school is closed for that specific holiday. However, we are literally the only school in this area with no built-in snow days. Along with the fact that we couldn't even apply to have the state of emergency days removed from being made up, as we made no effort to make up any of these days by taking away unnecessary holidays. My kids are not learning when they have not been to school for a full week in the past few months. While I agree with each and every call that has been made, the roads were terrible. I'm totally supportive of the snow days. I think they were totally warranted. However, something needs to be put into place. This doesn't benefit me at all. That I saved money. I don't have to pay for camp for a week with my kids going to school an extra week. I would rather pay the money and have my kids have a better education, because they're not learning when they're off for a day, on for a day, off for a day. It's just not a conductive environment.
Well, let me start with the safety protocol. We have been implementing some new procedures. Officer Summer received some samples today that we reviewed, and we're going to look at specific doors throughout, see what type of model might work best.
Yep.
So that's in motion. Officer Summer's done a great job. Mr. Grigorski taking my charge to communicate with those folks. Floor grading, we addressed several months ago prior to the start of the school year. pretty thoroughly at a work session, but I'll let Ms. Felicity speak to that at this point.
I think there's some misunderstanding. It was, why that was implemented and put in was we didn't want children getting zeros, or a 15, or a 20. Failure for a marking period is 69. 69 is failure. Anything below 70 is a failure. You failed. That's failing the course. We didn't feel that to put a 0 on the kid's report card, why? And you're saying they don't do the work. Then if, in the first 2 quarters we did that, because if they get a 0 in the first 2 quarters, they can never make it up. They can't survive it. They can't come back. They're not giving a choice. If they got it this way, it gives them the opportunity. Failure is failure. 69 is failure.
Did they deserve a 0 though? Because if they deserved a 0,
If they're-
Well,
if
it
they're
doesn't
breathing-
matter,
if they're-
0 or 69, they still fail.
If they came to school and they're breathing, they deserve more than a 0. I mean, just to,
so if you
For
went to your
attendance.
job and you just showed up at it,
well, you'd be more
They
than
still
a
get
0.
paid.
And part of, one of
No,
the,
you-
one of the biggest reasons for this is communication with the home. We want our teachers to reach out to parents, to talk to the parents, to see what might be going on in their child's life and work on it together.
I
And give the
understand
student an
extenuating
opportunity to become
circumstances,
successful.
but if a kid is continuously not performing,
And that's,
It's-
and absolutely.
It's not every marking period.
Right, and
Okay,
that's why, and we
that's-
changed it later on.
1 and
Okay.
2, it's period, marking periods 1 and 2,
Mhm.
and then it's game on as normal.
okay,
However, we want to put in, hopefully, proper interventions for each student based upon whatever might be going on. Do they need mental health counseling? Are they suicidal? Do the parents get divorced? Are they sick? We don't know that until we start talking to people, and that's the goal of this
okay.
It was
practice
to
that we.
really to force the issue, to call home, to find out, to get the parent involved. If a child was truly not doing what they're supposed to do, then as Dr. Barrett said, that reflects that later on.
Okay.
You know, and again, it's our first year, we're still working with the staff, gathering some data. We found out, like, just looking at it, interestingly, that you bring this up, we ran some of the data right before Easter. And there are kids that there were significant failures in the first quarter, and some of those kids in the second quarter survived.
Right.
Like, you know, they came back and they tried hard. We also are seeing, you know, bits of information that are interesting, like it's, you know, is it a certain grade level, is it a certain subject area, is it certain content? That helps us. If everybody's failing in one area, maybe we need to look at the content or how that's being taught. It's,
Instructional practices,
you know,
curriculum.
it was
Which
for
would be
lots of
something that I would
reasons.
think that a teacher would bring up, if all of their kids, there needs to be a sliding grade at some point, like,
That's right.
totally acceptable,
Exactly.
like, I get that, but one kid that's just not performing and just doesn't wanna perform, they shouldn't be.
Right.
I just wanna make sure that somebody's not being shuffled into society.
That's not
They're
prepared.
still
Yes.
accountable.
Absolutely.
They're still held accountable
Okay.
for the grade.
I see it all the time. I have plenty of friends that I've taken them workers. They graduated. I didn't graduate. I gotta go to the diner and read them the menu because they graduated and don't know how to read.
Well, that's what we're trying to prevent. And we're trying to provide a more in-tune instructional pathway for each kid. And regarding the snow days, there's no good answer, quite honestly. Many of the districts that built in snow days and took vacations day back got hammered yesterday and had to call off again.
Yep.
It's part of the last